Imagine doing schoolwork in the middle of the night during the Stone Age. You had no internet to browse for references, no gadget to accompany you, and all you've got was a big leaf and some animal's blood as an ink source. This situation could still be convenient. However, how can you see and do your work when it is too dark? Remember, you are somewhere in the prehistoric era, where light bulbs and lamps have not yet existed. You could rely on celestial objects such as the moon and the stars. But what if the moon and the stars are covered or not illuminating in the vast sky? And much worse, rain happens to occur in the middle of nowhere. Therefore, you'd have to deal with the darkness around you, all black and hollow. And take note, you had homework to do. In this TED Talk presentation, we will learn about one of the pioneering light sources during the prehistoric period, the campfire or bonfire. Whether it be campfire or bonfire in prehistoric context, the said invention paved the way for notable people like John H. Irwin and Thomas Edison to discover light sources such as oil lamps and light bulbs during the 19th century.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chemistry is Everywhere series. My name is Lizette, and together with my friends, I will share with you what a campfire basically is in nature. We will also discover a campfire uses, applications, concept, and main principles throughout our journey. Lastly, there will also be scientific explanation of the invention and some exciting information to unravel. However, before we proceed, I have a question for you. Have you ever gone camping before? Whether it was with your family, friends, or someone else? Remember what you used as a source of light while you were out and about conversing with other people? It is known as a campfire. It was nice getting to know you, but anyways, let us head over to my friend Aaron to see what he has in store for us. Take it away, Aaron.
Here are the concepts and main principles of a campfire. So what exactly is a campfire? According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a campfire is a controlled fire constructed outside, typical for special occasions such as picnics, outings, camping, and the like. It also helps people in cooking their delectable meals. It is also an excellent source of light and heat, perfect for camping, night outs, and all other outdoor activities. Let us first know the parts of a campfire. So we see the glowing fire, the burning chunks of wood, and other scraps like leaves and twigs. In chemistry, aside from the Oregon State University, a fire is a reaction wherein the energy is produced in the form of heat. This reaction is called combustion. Combustion is possible when fuel or any flammable material reacts with oxygen. When this reaction happens, the process gives off light, heat, and flame. Therefore, creating a campfire ignites a chemical reaction of combustion since fire is present and the materials gobbled by the fire are flammable. Now that you are acquainted with the basics of a campfire, let us now head down to our fantastic duo, Caroline and Jade, for the further uses and applications of a campfire.
So we are now under the uses and applications of a campfire. Before we get started, I am Caroline.
And I am Jade, and we are your fantastic duo for this TED Talk presentation.
There are relevant ways to use a campfire. First and foremost, the Britannica Encyclopedia editors cite that humans use a campfire for survival, including cooking and other practical purposes. In fact, the campfire's use contributed to lifestyle development and early civilization. Second, campfires are still used today but often only for leisure, as electricity is now widely used and more accessible for most of the basic human needs.
Third, temperate and alpine regions, such as most countries in Europe, often use campfires as a source of warmth during cold winter season. Fourth, in communities like science schools or simply groups of people in remote areas, campfires are often used for leisure, such as making s'mores, singing campfire songs, or having sentimental conversations. Lastly, campfires are often created for ritual ceremonies and acts of worship by some cult or groups of people. However, we will further specify this application as we dive into the fun and interesting facts later on.
At this juncture, we as your Camptastic duo have presented the main uses and applications of a campfire around the world.
Let's now proceed to the most awaited part of this presentation, the chemistry behind a campfire.
Let us call out our Camptacular speakers, Lex and Andre, to present the highlight of today's Chemistry is Everything episode.
Thank you, Caroline, and welcome to the crucial part of our educational presentation. Before anything else, I am Lex.
And I am Andre.
And we are your Camptacular speakers for today's episode of Chemistry is Everywhere.
Let us now jump into the chemistry behind a campfire.
So Aaron mentioned earlier that a campfire contains fire and wood and some twigs and leaves. He also left us with the idea that fire ignites the chemical reaction of combustion. According to Allison Salt from the University of Kentucky, combustion reactions such as those present in a fire are what we identify as spontaneous processes in chemistry. In thermodynamics, spontaneous processes naturally occur by themselves or by initiation. Examples may include a waterfall running downhill, melting ice to water, making fires, and many more. In addition, the Thomson-Berthelot principle states that almost all exothermic chemical processes are spontaneous. Since a campfire contains the fire that produces heat, it is an exothermic reaction. Furthermore, building a campfire requires the fire to burn solid materials such as wood. In 2017, John Popwisky from Sciencing.com stressed that entropy increases when solids like wood are burned through fire.
So what is entropy? In chemistry, entropy is a measure of molecular randomness or disorder in a system. One factor that influences entropy is spontaneity. Chemical reactions that produce a higher number of product particles than that of reactant particles are usually spontaneous. In other words, there is an increase of entropy with spontaneous processes and a decrease of entropy with non-spontaneous processes. An increase in the number of particles leads to more disorder in the system and increases entropy.
So let us go back to the campfire. Energy, carbon dioxide, and water in the form of water vapor are dispersed once a fire is ignited onto flammable objects such as wood. Cited from the same man, John Popwisky, he further explains that the vapor and gas atoms from the campfire energetically vibrate then spread out in an ever-expanding cloud. To further emphasize entropy, a solid wood log contains zero randomness. Once the wood is ignited with a flammable quantity and slowly grows into a fire, the produced ash and fire showcase high randomness or disorder, implying that as the fire grows, then so is an increase in entropy. There is so much to learn, and we hope you continue being a curious cat of the chemistry around you. Once again, and again and again and again, chemistry is everywhere.
That is correct, partner. And before we end today's episode, let us first dive into some fun and interesting facts about campfires gathered by our dear friend, Patricia. Pat, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thanks, Lex and Andre. Here are some interesting facts about the campfire that we may or may not know today. Fact number 1. According to the editors of Britannica Encyclopedia in 2019, early agriculturists used fire to clear fields and produce ash that could be used as fertilizer, a practice known as slash and burn cultivation. This technique is extensively utilized in many tropical and temperate areas globally. Fact number 2. According to Eric Levin in a 2005 issue of the Discover magazine, It was discovered that the first species who built the campfires were the Australopithecus robustus and Homo erectus, approximately 1.5 million years ago. Fact number 3. The color of the flames is derived from its soot, which when heated becomes incandescent and in return gives off thermal radiation in the form of light. The coolest portion of the flame is red and the hottest is bluish white. Fact number 4. Campfires are sometimes used for sacred rituals and celebrations. A notable example of this fact can be seen in the famous native pipe ceremony. People in the event encircle around the campfire and it is believed to have a sacred ritual for connecting worlds. Moreover, the said ceremony links physical and the spiritual world. Those are some of many interesting facts about campfires all over the world. On behalf of the group, it is an honor for us to present an innovation and a process that goes beyond your default perception. Indeed, we are glad to present the campfire beyond principles, application, and chemistry in today's world.
Thank you so much for watching and learning with us in this TED Talk presentation. We hope you learned something from today's episode. But before we end, let us first have our frequently asked questions, otherwise known as FAQ, addressing about campfires. Take it away, guys!
We kept talking about campfires and their application in chemistry for 10 minutes. But how can we make a campfire?
Making a campfire isn't really that difficult nowadays. You'll only need 5 essential items: wood, newspaper, cotton balls, fire starters, and a dryer tint. To begin, construct the base of your campfire by wrapping newspaper around it, surrounding it with wood to form a square shape. To build a new layer, repeat the process of laying wood on top in a parallel manner. Using little wood kindling, create a teepee fort in the center. You may now light a fire using a fire starter and continue the process by adding more wood to the campfire to make it last longer.
Aren't campfires potential contributors to global warming nowadays? What is the group's stand regarding this matter?
Yes, campfires contribute to global warming by emitting dangerous gases like carbon dioxide, which we all know is a greenhouse gas that depletes and damages our ozone layer. And with the convenience and versatility that electricity provides, many prefer to use it instead of traditional campfires nowadays. Household chores like cooking, for example, have far better alternatives than campfires. People's lives have become significantly more accessible since the development of gas stoves, ovens, and microwaves. And I believe we are taking the proper steps because electricity is a much more practical alternative. After all, it includes renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, hydroelectric, and geothermal. As a result, the reduction in campfires has had a significant favorable influence on our ozone levels and global warming.
Is there any other way to make campfires without using any matches or fire starters?
Yes, there's an old way of starting campfire that was widely used back then and even until now. Using friction and force, you may rub one stick on the other stick to start the fire. Place one stick on the ground and have a flat area where you can position the other stick on top vertically. Then, put your two palms together while holding the stick and quickly move your hands back and forth. Wood is 49% made out of carbon, and carbon is an excellent heat insulator.